Hello everyone, it's Fight here, and today I'll be showcasing some gameplay towards Red Hybrid. And I think it's another really fun deck in my opinion, with all the new support pieces they got, mostly with the new ancient line along with the new Takuya. I think a lot of the new pieces are actually really solid and definitely help upgrade Red Hybrid to be a little bit stronger in my opinion. And while it might not bounce security like the blue hybrid stuff, I still think the amount of aggression you can get off with the new Ancient, along with the fact that again it does flow similar to the Ancient Gurumon, I still think they're a very powerful deck. And a lot of the Takuyas can offer you a pretty good value because again you get piercing, you can get to memory, or you can get extra damage, which is really nice. And depending how you build the deck, it's just really flexible in that aspect. And in this case, I just go into the Warpaguni in the back pretty much just to put them to 1 as well. And I think that the Warpaguni is still really good, especially with the new Ancient Greymon, just because of the fact that at the end of the turn, of course, it deletes itself and you get to return a piece and play out Tamo for free, which is still really good. And in this case, they end up playing the red base Ancient Gurumon just to I guess test how it is. But I still really do like the new Ancient Greymon just because of the fact that it can help you set up your Takuyas for later turns. And I think basically all of the Takuyas are insanely useful because you can either get piercing, you can gain back 2 memory so you can do another hybrid, or you get extra damage. And in my deck list, I do run the BT12 Emperor Greymon as well, just because again I still think it's a really solid mega if you don't have the original Ancient Greymon. In this case, they just hard slam the new Koji, which isn't really the biggest deal to me, just because again, like they do get jamming, so most of my stuff would die, but I only care as much just because I also do want them hit security, just in case if they also hit a Tamo. And in this case, it was kind of unfortunate that I hit Heaven's Judgment, but at the end of the day, I guess it really didn't matter since the Ancient Greymon was going to die either way. But still, now with this, I'm able to play out 2 Tamos. So in this case, of course, I play out the BT12 Takuya first. I end up grabbing the Flamemon, and then I play another BT12 Takuya because I just wanted both my memory cells out, because it really didn't matter exactly what I played, because I would have ended up just having a bunch of Tamers at the end of my turn anyway, and he had a memory settle, so to me it wasn't really the biggest deal. And of course he moves up his 1-up Promo Yugo now, and again, still at 1-up, I still think it's really effective just because again, that one memory gain is still really insane. And I didn't grab the Warpagunis because I didn't have another Ancient Greymon in hand, so I wasn't really sure exactly when I'd be able to grab another one. So again, just having the Flamemon there just in case if I want to search for extra cards is still a little bit better on my mind. And say if I somehow do end up grabbing another Ancient Grey, that would be nice, but I'm not really planning for that in the future. And they swim with the Promo Yugo, it still ends up dying, and they don't get the on deletion of the Yokomon because there was nothing to grab. And I still think that's a funny enough tech for Ancient Gurumon because you're able to grab an animal, and the Ancient Gurumon is an ancient animal, funny enough. So I like the idea, it just may not be the greatest sometimes. And of course, this is on DCGO, it's a free application made by Wong Zero on Steam, so of course if you guys want to check it out, go to his YouTube channel and then you can figure out from there. And in this case, they end up playing the Ancient Deity option to grab back Beowulf. I wasn't exactly sure why they added Beowulf in the first place. Maybe it was that way they could climb into a Mega if they do have a hybrid. And then they end up playing the second Koji, I guess because if they had the Ancient, it would have done a whole lot because he would have been able to bounce anyways. But in this case, he ends up going into the Lobo and then just putting me to 1 with the Beowulf. But again, probably wasn't the best idea just because I had some memory settles out, so I would have been able to go to 3 regardless. And his thing is most likely just going to end up dying potentially because now it's running the open. And again, you see that I end up drawing into the Ancient Greymon. I'm like, damn, if I had the Warpaguni here, it would have been really nice, but it is what it is sometimes. So now I was kind of just deciding exactly which Takuya I want to use, if I wanted to get the memory or the extra damage. And in this case, I just go for the memory set one just because right now I have 2 on the board. And I do play out the Atomic Inferno, which lets me of course do extra damage. So now I'm basically hitting for 2 checks, and now I'm gaining back 2 memory. And it was kind of unfortunate that I ended up giving them another Koji because they already used one, but now at this point it is what it is. And in this case, I end up grabbing the Warp Aguni back and basically just hard slamming the Ancient Greymon in my hand and using the Boring Greymon on the field, because I figured, oh well, I could just remove the Beowulf and that way they have to just bounce back the Ancient Greymon. And I was already in a good spot, and this was also kind of a risky move because now I just have one body on board, so if they Ancient me in this case, it's pretty much kind of over because I only have one body in the back and I really don't have another hybrid, so I'd basically be hoping that I draw into another one. So I guess if I was punished in this case, it would have been really bad in my case, and it would have been really good in this case, because now all I would have is just nothing on board other than a rookie, along with my hand kind of clogged up at the moment. So I again basically be hoping that I end up drawing into another hybrid. The safer play could have easily just been Cross without the Boring Greymon on board, because that way they would just bounce the Boring Grey to my hand, and that way I'd at least have a hybrid for sure, so that way I could possibly win next turn. But again, now it isn't what it is. And in this case, they just hard slammed the Boko. Maybe they didn't have a Kendo or something else in hand to really take advantage of it, so obviously they just hard slam it. And if they do evil off the Tamo, which in this case they didn't, they would gain back the 2 memory and possibly gone up into Ancient like that. But in this case they just grab a Lobo because maybe they were missing it from before when they evil into the Beowulf, and now in this case they just play the Ancient for basically 2 costs because they are digi-crossing with it as well. And of course with the Ancient Garurumon play here, they are able to bounce back my Ancient Grey and at the top card my Skirty. And in this case it was just really unfortunate because it ended up being in Agunimon, which neither of us could have known it was there. But thanks to that, I'm able to pretty much just go for game, swing with my rookie and then hybrid for game. And the next match is going to be against my Earthmon. I still think it's a really interesting deck to play and just kind of have fun with, but I also do like that I got at least a decent amount of support in form of the promo that I got recently. And while it doesn't make the deck super meta, it's still really interesting to go against because sometimes it can still wins with the new pieces I got from BT17. And in this case they end up just hard slamming the Dual Tamer and playing the Mummymon for its 2 cost. And this makes a lot of sense just because I did put them to fall, and this was a pretty decent way to not only get the trash set up but also just put me exactly to my 3 memory. And thanks to the Dual Tamer deletion, they're able to play out the Mummymon to again help them proceed to fill up the trash and whatnot. And now they do have a blocker, so with that, if I end up starting with the Flame on, they would pretty much just deflect the hit. And in this case I was kind of thinking, do I really want to move it up? And in this case I do, and I do end up playing the Flame on to get a Surge. I don't really get a whole lot, which was kind of unfortunate. And now I was just checking the Coromon to see if they actually would just block the hit, and of course they do, because that way I would have gone to draw. But in this case I end up just hard slamming the BT12 Flame on to get a couple of draws here. And that probably wasn't the smallest move. I could have just had a whole bunch of rookies on board to kind of flood the board, but it is what it is. And I could have also set up the BT7 to Korea as well a lot earlier on, because I do have the Emperor Greymon in hand. That would have easily helped me just access the Warp if I ever needed it. But at this point it pretty much is what it is. And in this case they of course delete the Dual Tamer again to play out the Mummymon for 3 to be able to again just help stop the trash. And now they just play out the Alchemon again, I guess, again to pretty much just do the same thing. This deck pretty much just revolves around recalling your Dual Tamer to just constantly play at level 5s to either get blocker, retaliation, or just whatever else. And now in this case they do end up just evolving into the BT16 Malamyosmon to delete the Mummymon that they just played, to be able to delete one of my things on board. And in this case they just deleted the BT17 Flamemon, which still makes sense because it does have the inherit to play a Tamer. And the BT12 Flamemon, while still good, again I think that aiming for the BT17 one is just a lot smaller in that case. And in this case, since I kind of just want extra cards in hand, I kind of just do the BT12 Flamemon again, and then I finally do end up playing the BT7 Takuya because that way at least now I would have a decent amount of hybrids in my trash for the following turn. And it was kind of unfortunate because they did end up trashing the new Takuya, which I still think is a very solid, just because again of the fact that it gives Pusey and just a really good effect of gaining memory or whatnot. And it was unfortunate because they ended up trashing another Takuya, which again I really can free play them with my megas, and right now I don't have any. And it does kind of suck because now I'm at 1 security while they'll still have 5, so I pretty much have to consistently blow up the board while also dealing a ton of damage, which again, Red Hybrid's advantage is that they can deal a ton of damage in one turn, but I just pretty much have to just be really careful and try to eliminate as much as I can while keeping up the damage output. And now it's going to be pretty unfortunate for me because now they're going to have 2 blockers set up, and again to my pretty much 2 rookies and then 2 tamers in the back, and my hand isn't looking the greatest just because again I only have 1 Aguni I can evolve over a tamer, so I pretty much have to figure out something to do. But in this case the Yukamon ended up grabbing me a Boring Greymon, which was still really good, and now I'm pretty much trying to hopefully do some damage here. And of course they block with that, deleting my Flamon, but this helps me set up into a Emperor Greymon, which I still had that one in my hand from before. And now even for 3 to end up delete the Myolismon Mega, because again I think that was the biggest point here. And in this case I did set them to 1 with the Atomic Inferno because in my mind I kind of forgot I was at 0, but this ended up being a fine enough play, I think, just because now they're only at 1, so they can't really do a whole lot on their turn, which I guess was kind of fine in retrospect because, spoiler, I do end up winning the game. Now they're pretty much taking the best course of action, whether to swing or not, and in this case it was kind of safer not to swing, just in case if I wasn't able to remove the blocker they had, because again it's 6k, so I would pretty much have to spend a lot of effort to remove it because none of my rookies could. And I did waste a deletion with Emperor Greymon. In this case, I Yugo effect to grab back another Flamon, and now with the Lilithmon option that would kill my Emperor at the end of turn, so I pretty much have to use it right now or else it'll just go to waste. And I start swinging with my lower end stuff right now, and they don't end up blocking because I assume that they want to kind of block the Emperor Greymon because it can do 3 checks, and those ones would only do like 1 check each, so obviously blocking the big hit would be a lot better. But in this case, since I had the Boring Grey, I just raid over the Aokenimon, so then that way I can just remove it, and that way I could swing for 3 checks, and that way they don't have a body and I pretty much can kill them next turn. Granted, they don't kill my entire board, but in this case it didn't really matter as much just because of the fact that I'm able to play out a Takuya, since the Emperor Greymon was from trash or hand, and the new Takuya is still really good because now they give me a body to gain memory from, and again that way I'm able to pretty much be at 4 in this case. And building up into a Witchmon and then a Myolismon blocker is really good because not only are they able to have a blocker set up with the Myolismon effect as well, they're able to stop 2 attacks because the Witchmon inherit would delete a different Digimon to pretty much stop the attack, and the Myolismon here free plays a level 3 or a tamer, and in this case of course they're going to free play the level 3, so that way again they can have Witchmon inherit live. But I think they also did need just a few more blockers on board, so that way even if I kill the Myolismon they would still be able to at least deflect all the hits from my little rookies and whatnot. But at the same time it is what it is. And the following turn for me anyways was kind of really good because I was able to not only kind of just ignore all the blockers and whatnot, I was able to at least finish game. And in this case I do end up just egoing the back, and I do use Atomic Inferno on the Boring Greymon to get bigger than the Myolismon, so that way they're kind of forced to just stop the attack, or else I just gain a bunch of overflow. But as you're gonna see, he stops the attack, and then I end up just swinging with as much bodies as I can. But it was kind of unfortunate because this Greymon on deletion ended up killing one of my rookies, but again it didn't really matter, only because of the fact that I was able to hybrid for game. And that was pretty much the gameplay video. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course don't worry, the deck list will be coming soon. And again, if you guys did want to check out DCGO, you should visit Wongzeo's channel to find out more information there. And again, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do like my videos, obviously you should just keep watching them. I think I make fine enough content. Again, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.